All right, so welcome back again. So today we're going to be looking at chapter 7, which is customizing QuickBooks. So if you have your book or if you have the PDF I sent you guys, it should be page 205. So this one, we're not going to be really entering much data in regards to this. We're just looking at what you can do and what you can't do in QuickBooks. So this is us customizing it and tailoring it to how, whether we like it or how the company wants to have it. And it's really cool after reading at what you can actually do for QuickBooks. So here I'm back at my home page and I'm going to show you again how to open up a portable file. So I clicked restore or an existing file and I'm going to click next. All right. Then it's going to take me to this window where I need to look for it. And I'm going to go to my documents. It's going to be in LVPDA, accounting, QuickBooks class. Then I'm going to go to my portable files. Oopsies. Portable files. And then I'm going to go to my class files copy. And I believe for this one, for this one, it's going to be customizing 18 right here. That says customizing good 18. All right. And it's going to ask me where I want to save this file. I'm going to go down to the same exact place, except I'm going to place it in a different folder. I'm going to place it in the folder I've created here, PM QuickBooks class, and save it there. All right. Now I wait for the program to upload its contents. Okay. So again, you need to have internet in order to even have this process even going. For any reason that you are not online, it won't actually open up your file.
Oh, really?
Yes. You can work on it offline, but again, it may kick you out for any reason or not save your file. So here again, the password is Sleater18, capital SLEETER 18. Okay, so that's the person of the book that he's the creator of this book. All right, and because I'm going from 18, I'm opening an 18 file to a 2019 program, I'm going to go ahead and make my updates. Okay. Okay. Usually for the future, what I'm going to do is before we start our class, I'm going to have the file already uploaded. But because this is your first couple times getting used to this program, I want you to understand how to open the portable file. Okay, so here we go. We can go ahead and select done. Now I always get this pop-up that asks me to log into my account. I don't need that to have my to log into my account. So now my program is opening. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close out what my new features are, and I'm going to expand my home page. Now,
This is the page I'm used to seeing, but it had different things on it. This is really interesting.
yes, as QuickBooks does progress.
Yeah, enter bills, pay bills, that's basically what I would do.
Yes. So it just depends on what your position is in the company. But do you remember what year or edition you had?
Yeah, it was the QuickBooks premiered 2016.
2016. Okay, so you're fairly in the newer generation of QuickBooks, because I know QuickBooks 2010 or 2012 even. Those ones don't even have half of these icons. Now for you, because you're in the kind of more general, like pretty recent area, 2016, because when I came in, they were still teaching 2015. Um, there's only a few things that are a little different. You can process things a little more faster. But for your kind of stance, I can understand that because your main focus is just what a position were you? Accounts payable,
I was a
receivable.
senior accounting clerk.
Perfect. Then yeah, then your primary is only your bills, which is up here. Okay. But this is looking at every single aspect, and that's exactly what I teach here in accounting is I want you to be able to look at it in all perspectives.
Right.
Okay? Whether you're the manager for bills or the inventory manager, or if you're the sales representative or the payroll, I want to teach you every single aspect so that you are flexible and be able to use this for if and when for your own company or for a project, whatever you want to do. Okay? So here we're going to be looking at how we can customize our company file or just QuickBooks in general. You can customize it as much as you want and however you like. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and show you the very first thing. So, there are two ways you can actually customize your QuickBooks. Actually, yes and no, okay? So when we're actually customizing our QuickBooks, we have to look at it on how, which do we want it a personal customization or do we want to apply it for the whole company? Okay, so that's why we have what's called user preferences and we have company preferences. Okay, and how we be able to toggle that is our only place where we can do that is going to be through our edit menu and you go to preferences. And here at the top, you're going to see, depending on what category you're in, you're at the very top here, you have my company and then you have you have my preferences and then company preferences. Okay? So my preferences is going to be based on the user's interface. So let's say I don't like this green. I don't like the color that it's displaying for me. I can customize it so that every time I open up the file, it will save whatever I like for QuickBooks to display for me, right? It's only on my computer that is going to be set like that.
So anything that I do on here, it wouldn't affect anybody else's.
If you choose it under my preferences,
Yes.
okay?
Oh, okay.
So that means if
That's cool.
if I use your computer and it has QuickBooks, it'd be whatever settings that you have,
Okay.
okay? Now, if you do this, right, and you select company preferences, this applies to the entire company file. So if I were to save this file right now and I have you open it, for whatever changes I have made to the company file will reflect on your file. So it doesn't matter which computer that you go to, it will show up the whatever changes that I want made onto your computer, right? So that's the difference between user preferences and company preferences, right? So I'm going to show you, for example, what I can do for company preferences as well as preferences in general, okay? So oftentimes when we're doing this, we definitely want to be able to view our content to our best ability. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at is going to be how our things are being displayed on here. So in this case, I'm going to click view. If I click view, I can go ahead and look here and notice that I can change where my icon bar is. I can customize my icon bar. I can customize my menu. I can also have either do one window or multiple windows open. So those are pretty cool. So I can also switch switch to multi-user, okay? I can open a new window if I wanted to. Okay, so one of the things that I want to also have you aware is if you are the kind of person that can only focus on one window at a time, if you choose one window, that means it's going to automatically maximize my work and it's only going to allow me to show one window at a time. I cannot drag this down and be able to look at the second one or flip and flop versus for another one. I would actually have to go to this, I would have to go to build tracker, right? And then I would have to actually go back to the home page to go back to my enter bills. So in one window form, you actually, yeah, in a one window, in a one window screen like this, you can't really do much things as far as flexibility wise. You can only view one item at a time. Now, if I go ahead and select my multiple windows, right, I can place anything. I can shrink this. I can move this around. I can view multiple sheets at one time instead of having to close this, close that, open that, open this. Okay, so that is one preference that you can toggle between either user and or company. And I actually prefer this because sometimes maybe I needed to take a quick look at what this was. I can just move it down or I can work in multiple windows at one time. Okay, so that's the cool thing about that one. All right. The next thing I want to show you is let's go ahead and go into our preferences. So as you can see, if we look carefully, we have this blue, dark blue going on, right? And I want to go ahead and be a little more, I want to personalize that for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and go to desktop view. So if I were to go to my preferences, right? And this is where I can also choose the option. Do I want one window at a time or multiple windows at a time? All right. And then other things I could also look at is I can look at if I want to save the last window of what I've just created. So for in case you are the only person that's using this computer, you want to have to save the last window that you opened up in QuickBooks for. You want to save that because obviously when you come back into work, you're going to turn on your computer, you open up QuickBooks, it's going to automatically leave off of where you left off. You last left off. Now, if you have if you do have a computer that is used by multiple users, such as after your shift's over, there's someone else that's going to come in right after you, or maybe you're a part-time worker and someone needs to use the same computer as you, you do have the option to right here to be able to not save the current desktop. But what happens is you could always have it don't save. As in, like, the next time that the person opens up QuickBooks, it's not going to show up your financial statements. It's going to show up the home page. So it doesn't save anything. So you definitely want to do that one for sure. Other things.
Multiple users, right?
Yeah, with multiple users that uses your computer. Like if, right? You don't want them to see the last thing that you've done.
Right.
Okay. Now, we have Windows setting. Windows setting is just basically going to be basically how you want to view your windows. So here, we don't really care too much about that. This one's just more of like setting up how you view the files. But we don't need that. That's like if you're using like multi-screens, you are able to toggle it here. So if you have more than one screen, you're able to do it there. The last thing I want to show you is, so I'm on my company preferences. So this is for my work only. I'm not touching the company's side at all. The company's side is kind of limited on what you can do, but for my preferences, I can also choose the color scheme that I want. For example, right, I have my color scheme. There's a default setting right here. And you can choose. You can choose the colors that you want to see. Let's say I want, let's do something obvious like orange. If I choose orange, everything in my QuickBooks is going to change. And if I go ahead and click save or click OK, that means all my windows are going to be now to be orange.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's really cool. Now, I actually don't like orange, even though it is my school color.
Better color.
I want something that's a little more nicer on my eyes. So I can go to preferences again, go to display view, and then click color scheme, and I can go either back to default, or maybe I could do something little nicer like a nice blue medium. I could do dark gray. I could do purple and red, purple and blue. I like purple and blue. And purple and blue looks a lot nicer. Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So that's what you could do for user preferences as well as company preferences, right? If you personally want to change your screen color or you want to do this, this is where you'd be able to do this, all right? All these other, yes.
Because I know I was always scared to touch certain things because I didn't want anything to, to delete anything accidentally. So, I just stayed right within what I had to do.
Okay, and you can't have the possibility with that as well too. Like you can't. But this is like if you want to customize your personal QuickBooks every time you open up QuickBooks and what you want to see, that's what you could customize it for. Okay. Now all these other little categories and sections here, I'm gonna click this. All these little sections here, right? In this list on the left is going to entail everything else when it comes to customizing for everything else. So again, you can, for these example, this applies for the home page, okay? So when we're looking at this, okay, so our home page looks like this, okay? Our home page is full of all of these things right here, okay? Now, if I want to customize my home page, I have two ways of doing that. The first way is through the Easy Step interview, okay? Because the Easy Step interview is going to allow the more information you give QuickBooks, the more it starts to make an easy way for you to enter in all of your transactions. So in this case, we're looking at, for example, let's focus on our inventory right here, right? Because we have inventory as yes, we do have inventory. This little inventory part is shown above here. Now, if I want to change that, the second way you can do that is going to be your edit preferences window under company, right? You can change it that way. Now, I'm going to look at items in inventory, right? I'm going to go to my company, and I'm going to select I don't use inventory. All right? I'm going to click OK and select OK. And what happens is my home page closes itself. Let's go ahead and look at what happens when I open up my home page. The whole entire top part is gone. It's gone because I decided to customize it by saying I don't need inventory. I don't have inventory. There's no you can actually take that off if you don't need it. All right. And that could be very well as for you too. Maybe you don't need to focus on that. All you need to focus on is just entering your bills and how you pay them. Okay. And yeah, that's how you do it that way. And then we can go back to company preferences. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that inventory item back on again. All right. Okay. So now I have my inventory on top of there. So this applies to a lot of things that you can change. So such as time and billing, right? Time and billing, payroll, payments, or even payroll itself. You could get rid of that whole entire system itself, right? So at the bottom you have, do you charge this? Do you pay this? Do you pay that? Do you have a full payroll system? In this case, I don't. I could go ahead and look at time and billing. Do I record time? If I do, then on my home page it's gonna say right here, enter time. If I say I don't record time, that icon will be eliminated. So it's just depending on what kind of category you have, and what type it falls into, and your the way you customize your homepage is answering those questions. Yes or no. Do you have this? Do you have this? Okay. And that's how you customize your homepage. You customize your homepage through the Easy Step interview and the edit preferences menu. Okay, so good. So now we're going to be looking at customizing the menu bar. Now, trick question for you. All right. How do you customize the menu bar?
Go into my preferences.
No.
Oh, well, customize, yeah, what you're right on. Oh, view first, okay.
Okay.
Customize icon bar. Oh, let's see. 'Cause I'm customizing we're customizing my top bar, wait a minute. So we're gonna change the icon bar, not the icon bar, but the, let's see. The title bar, are we changing the title bar, or we're
Okay,
just?
not the title bar. The title bar is what tells you what workbook you're currently in.
So the menu bar?
Yes.
The menu bar, okay, so we're gonna do the menu bar, we're gonna change that. So I want to change my menu bar, so I go into, customize my, create notes, let's see. What would I wanna change that to, though? I mean, what, the menu bar has the files, the edits, lists, favorites, things like that, banking reports. What would be my reason for changing that?
You don't need half of these things. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, then I could remove, employee, well, since I'm not doing, or I've never done I'm not doing payroll, then employees could come off, so I would, let me see if I can say. Oh, go into edit. Okay, go into edit. No, that wouldn't be it. Oh, there's employees, go into employees.
What would employees have?
Well, employees would be there for payroll.
Right, but what
Payroll,
we're
I don't
trying
need.
we're trying to customize the menu bar. How do you do that?
See, I don't want to go into employees. We come out of that. So if I want to customize it, and I want to go, if I'm customizing it, then I have to edit what I want to come out.
Okay.
So if I go into edit, will edit let me, give me the option
I already went to edit.
to remove, so I can remove it.
How do you remove it?
Well, I don't know, that's why I'm hoping the edit would let me know.
I am in edit right now. Is there anything that you see there?
No, nothing's in there that's says, okay, could you go back to view? This view, okay. Switching multiple monitors, top, icon bar, hide bar. Could we, no, I don't wanna hide the bar, no, customize icon bar. Well, this is my, menu bar. Favorites for menu favorites. So, would it be favorites for menu, favorites menu? So I can,
Okay,
this is my
well,
menu bar.
that is to customize a special path for you. As in, like, oh, I use this a lot more often.
Right. So then I could go into customize icon bar. Oh, no, this is my menu bar, so I don't want an icon bar. Let's see. So file, edit, customize. List favorites. Okay. Switch to multiple monitors. Okay. Try to print. Display items. Company document. Don't want company because this is just customizing my screen. I don't want to change the company screen.
The company menu bar does not do anything as far as your personal preferences. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with it.
That's not gonna do anything, okay.
Alright.
Let's see.
Andrea,
Yeah,
just say I don't know.
say again, I can't hear you that well.
Just say I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
I was trying to see if
great.
I could
I'm
figure
gonna
it-
explain to you.
I was trying to see if it was something that was obvious that would, show me that would be what I would have to do.
You're gonna kick yourself in the foot when I tell you this answer. You cannot customize the menu bar.
You can't do that.
You can't even customize it. Why? I've already told you before. Just like you go into a restaurant, right? It's a list of every single transaction that you can incur when you're dealing with QuickBooks. You cannot get rid of or customize. You cannot change it at all, period, okay? The only thing that you can customize as far as the menu bar is the favorites bar.
Say that again?
Is the
Is it what?
favorites menu.
Oh,
That's the only thing you can customize. You can't customize. You can't customize your company. You can't customize your vendors. You can't customize employees. You cannot customize anything on here. The only that you can do is your favorites, and it even asks you here customize your favorites.
there.
All right. But again, the favorites menu is just to again. There's a transaction that you frequently use.
Right.
Right, and you want to just leave it there because it's just something that you normally use instead of going to this and searching all at the bottom, right? My favorites menu is going to allow me to have it right there. So this is what I was going to talk to you about is you cannot customize the menu bar whatsoever, okay?
Okay.
It is solid and it is intact. You cannot change anything to it. The only thing you can do is you can add your favorites menu list, okay? Once you open that customize under the favorites, it's going to give you a list of things that you want to see or what you want to have on there. In this case, I want my chart of accounts to be on there.
Yeah.
All right. I also want my, let's see, what is something I normally use? Maybe a calendar might be nice. I can also use, I guess I could use Okay, those are good for now. All right. Actually, no. Let me do one
Can I
more.
ask you this?
Yes.
One question. One of the things that I used to always wish was on my main menu screen was the check registers. You know, because we would always have to go into banking, and I think we'd have to go into, what was it, something, I don't remember, it's been like 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. But we would have to go into banking, and then we'd follow some other prompts in order to get to the check register. And I was always, going back and forth with the check register because I would also, that was my bookkeeping that I was doing too, and I would usually have to download the check register into Excel because I couldn't manipulate the check register. So can you do something like that too?
Let's see, because I'm looking for it right now. So I have the closing date.
That was always a pain.
Okay, I can always have my Ask Accountant. I think you could do banking, but you won't. You're not able to actually have the check register there. So let me see. I'm getting close because each one. So I have employees here. Banking. I can have write a checks feature. I can have order checks. I can enter a credit card transaction, but no, unfortunately, I cannot customize my bank account to be on there.
Yeah, what we would do is I'd go into banking, and it would have some other drop-down menus. And
Yeah.
then you were able to pull up the register. But it was
Yes.
always, kind of a tedious process.
Yes.
It's something that I would use so much.
So these ones you cannot, so for these, it's just to
Yeah.
help you get to a jump start. So in this case, I want my chart of accounts. I want to do this. But unfortunately, no, you can't. This is a preset list of what you can have on your favorites list. But no, I thought about that too. I was thinking to do the checking account, but it will not allow you to do that. I mean, as far as like just scrolling down all these things, I do not see my checking account to be available. So I have all these three right here, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, every time I go to my favorites menu, those are the top three things I will see.
Okay.
All right. Now, for any reason I still don't like it, I can go back and change it. So in this case, I want to change the order. I want Ask Accountant to be the first one. So what I could do is I can click the move up button, and I'm going to say I want that one to be the first one. Then I want my calendar to be next, and then my chart of accounts.
Oh.
And if I do that, then I get to see here that Ask the Accountant is number one, right? But because I don't have that paid service for that, it won't allow it. It's grayed out because you have to pay for that service. Okay, but I have my calendar and then my chart of accounts. So that is the only thing that you can customize when it comes to the menu bar. Okay, so yes, anything else you can never ever ever change anything that's already in here.
Okay.
Okay, so all right, so we changed the home page, we changed the menu bar. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to customize your icon bar. Okay, so you have a few things. So first off, is viewing the icon bar. You have a few options to do that. If you come up here, you have this little carrot looking thing. If you select that, I hide my icon. I hide my icon bar, right? If I want to expand it, I press that same thing again, right? I can also go to view, and it gives me options. Do I want it to be on the left corner, or do I want it at the top, or do I want to hide my icon bar? So if I hide my icon bar, it's completely gone. It doesn't exist. Okay? Now, oftentimes people do that because sometimes the icon bar, right, it takes up a lot of space. And now that I got rid of it, I have a little more space and more freedom to be able to do my transactions. Okay? But I can also use my icon bar if I say I don't want it. I want it I want the top of the page, right? So here's my icon bar at the top of my page. Now, I'm going to tell you this because I think it's funny that people do this too.
Uh-huh.
There's really no purpose to put the icon bar at the top of the page is because you have the menu bar right here.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
okay.
If I want to go to income tracker, I just go to my vendors right there, income tracker.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or bill tracker, I'm sorry.
Right.
If it's
You
customers,
already got that up there, yeah.
exactly, it's right there. So what's the point of having your icon bar set at the top if half of these icons can be easily accessible through the menu bar at the very top?
Right.
Okay, so I mean that's my preference. That's what my opinion is on it. What's the point of having it here when I can access it like right here?
Right. Right.
And so normally what I would do is I would have it on the left side.
Oh, okay.
Oopsies, I hit top again. Left. Okay, so it's going to look like
Yeah.
this. Right? Now, in order to customize it, you can right click it. Not left, right click it.
Right click.
And then you're going to get customize.
Oh,
Okay? So anywhere in the icon bar, you just right click it, customize. Right? And let's say, so then I get this little window here. And these are going to be the list of all the transactions that I can have is as far as the whatever I want to have.
These to the icon bar.
Yes, you can even delete them. Like for example, I can even move them. If you see this little triangle here, I can move them. So then the way I see it, so I want the home page at the top, good. I want to see my calendar. I want to see that at the second. You can also add things too. So if I want to add something, it's going to ask me, well, what do you want to add in there? And in this case, I can even search if I wanted to what I'm looking for. And in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and just scroll down. Ooh, I have a calculator. So I can go ahead and say, yes, I want a calculator. So here, the calculator is added to my list at the very bottom. Where did it add the calculator? Calculator, right here. I want to move that to my very top. So I want to see my home page, my calculator next. So as you can see, it's changing it on my left side as I go. So it is showing me what I want to see. I want income tracker, bill tracker. My company I don't want. So I can go ahead and delete that. Okay. So and say I don't want snapshot. Okay, so I can delete that too. Oh, and vendors, and then I don't want customers. I don't want to see order checks. I don't want to see my employees either. So anything that you want to put in here, you can. All right, and let's say I think I have banking in here for something. All right, let's say I want to add something else. I want to add my bank feeds, or I can even add my batch track transaction. I don't want to do that. Bill tracker, which I already have. So basically, all of these are just pretty much things that, let's say I want to have my print stuff, or like I want it to be easily accessible. So I want to do my print checks. I want that to be something as part of it, right? Because that's something I'll always see. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I have print checks available right here. And I want that to be right under my calendar. Okay. Oops, I didn't move it. So print checks, I'm going to go on to click on it. And I want to move it right in between here. Oh, still didn't do it. So here you go. So I want to see my calculator, my calendar, my print checks. I want to see my income tracker, my bill tracker.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
That's a right click that you do to get
Yes.
Okay.
And then once I've done that, I'm going to click OK. And now on my left side, it's going to create the icons for me. All right? I have my home page here. I have my calculator here. So if I click calculator, it's going to pull up a little calculator.
Oh, okay.
I have my calendar. So it's going to show me my calendar. And what my calendar is going to tell me is, do I have bills that I need to pay? If I do, there's my print window, print bills, checks or whatnot. I have my income tracker and my bill tracker. So I have everything how I want it to be shown here.
Oh,
Okay? With an easy button.
that's nice. I never used this that much at all.
Yeah. So yes, you
I never
have,
knew I could do all that.
yeah, so it's really cool on what you can do when you're
Oh,
exploring,
wow.
customizing your platform. So here we got to see user preferences, company preferences, and we got to see how to customize our homepage, our menu bar, and our icon bar. All right. Any questions in regards to how to customize anything?
No, I'm good so far.
All right, this portion is by far the easiest one. Let me see. So I went over menu bar, check. I went over homepage, and I went over icon bar. So the next thing I'm going to be talking to you about is going to be items. Okay. So here we've already explored our options on how to customize it. Now the next thing that we're also able to do is we're able to customize our items list and also our chart of accounts, right? So that's also things that we can also do. Okay. So our chart of accounts, which we got to see yesterday,
Right.
right? We got to see that you're able to customize this by obviously entering in all your data. You can, and then you can also be able to do that, right? Now, I want to go into more details when I'm actually thinking about customizing items. So items and your chart of accounts, they kind of go hand in hand, all right? So instead of flooding your chart of accounts with a bunch of accounts that you may or may not use, you can go ahead and create an items list. So you're going to go to lists, and then you have items list. Oops, wrong one. List, and you could go to list, and then we're going to go to items list. So what items list is, it basically expands your chart of accounts. Okay, so instead of making it in its other sense, it kind of is like a sub account in a sense of creating these things. But what this does is it actually functions as a dual system, meaning like you can use this item for either making your purchase orders or for selling the item. So you can link up to as many as 2 or even 3 accounts to each item. So that is what is unique about items. Items is you can make associations between accounts.
Okay, so
Okay.
when they refer to items, they're talking about, just as you're saying, the list of your chart of accounts, the things that are listed on there are considered your items?
It's a item. So remember when we talked about how much QuickBooks can hold?
Yes, right.
That's considered just one item. What I'm talking about is items list. The things that you can either sell, things that you provide, things such as sales tax, things to break down your account to a little further. Okay, so these things, and what the great thing about items does is it links up multiple accounts. So for example, right, I have this item right here. Let me see. Okay, I guess I don't have it. But let's just go ahead and let's create our first item. And then when we go through that, we're going to talk about what this item can entail. Okay? So for example, in order to do that, you can either right click and you'll be able to create a new item here. Now, what the book teaches you is to go all the way down to the bottom left under items, click that down, that drop down menu, and you'd be able to create a new item, right? Now, when we create a new item, there are types that you can create. So we have 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. We have 11 items. Wait, no, wait, shoot. Let's do that again. 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 10 items that we can create, right? You can either create a service item, an inventory part item, a non-inventory part, a other charge, a subtotal, a group item, a discount item, a payment item, a sales tax item, and a sales tax group item. Okay? Now, each one of these items, again, they help you basically give your accounts a little more detail. It links up the item with that account, and it also can link multiple accounts together. So, for example, if I were to create an inventory part, I can associate it with 3 accounts. I can associate that if I want to purchase or make purchases for inventory. I can use that towards inventory.
Okay.
I can also use it for selling an item, right? I can say like I'm selling my inventory. And what that turns into, okay, so if I sell something, it becomes an income. And then lastly, I can associate the last one, which is the cost of goods sold.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I can do with just one inventory item. And yes, so let's go. I'm going to go ahead and break down each one, and we're going to look at what each one can entail. Obviously, service, right? If we're creating a service item, right? We're essentially saying, well, essentially this is a service such as, let's say, this is Academy Photography, right? We need to charge each photo session by hour. Okay? So therefore, that's considered a service, right? Because we're going to have a photographer, and what that photographer is going to do is it's a service, because ultimately they're not providing you, they're not selling you a product, they're selling you their time. Okay, so that's considered a service. And in this case, I think I am going to show you an example of what kind of services I can create. So in this case, I'm going to select service item. Okay. So if I do a service item, okay, so here it's a service item, and I'm going to call this, I don't know, outdoor session. Okay, outdoor photo session. Right? What I can do is there a tax for it? Is there a rate for it? Yes, I'm going to say it's $98 an hour. Can you get tax for it? Of course not, because it's a service, right? You're providing a service. You cannot actually legally sell that. Now, what my account is, because if I am selling this service, I'm going to create it as a service revenue, or it could just be a revenue. So here I have services. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and select that. Okay, and then I can click OK. And then now it says the name is already in use. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe it's supposed to be outdoor. Oh, indoor.
Indoor instead of outdoors.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, nope, that's already been used. Okay, so I guess we could say,
Garden. Just put garden photo session.
wow. Hey there, Lee.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine.
That's good.
All right, so 2:30, you are on point with your timing.
Oh, I've been here 10 minutes already.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was early, yeah, they landed pretty early. They say an hour and 15 minutes, but it actually only took like an hour.
yeah, yeah.
So, and the fly was hardly anybody on there.
Oh, that's good.
So it was real easy to grab my overhead and run down the terminal. But I'm here safely, and my dog's real happy. So,
Oh,
That
good.
is
So
good.
yeah.
So I'll take your opinion. I'll take your contributions and say let's create this garden photo shoot. Okay, for a photo session. Okay, and we'll click OK. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna apply it right here. So here I do have my indoor and my outdoor. But here it's going to show up right here. And every time I select this item as one of my things that I sell, right? It's going to automatically associate that this is going to be a service and I'm going to collect revenue upon that service.
Okay.
Okay? So that
And
is.
it won't let you put anything in twice, or, where you're cluttering your chart out.
Yeah, no. But it does associate. So right there, when it said account, right? I associate it with a revenue account.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So that's why the account number is the same,
Oh,
associated with each other.
yes. So, Lee, since you just joined us in, so what we're doing right now is we're looking at items, okay? Items is another way of saying it's a sub account, okay? It kind of expands each category, right? So went ahead and looked at an example, which is our chart of accounts here. If I go to my chart of accounts, right? If I go to inventory, this is a very vague. It's a broad looking way of it, right? So let me see. I'll go ahead and where is my inventory? Inventory asset. I have nothing under inventory asset, as in there is nothing there. Okay? And even if I double click it, it's not going to tell me much. It's going to just tell me I have all these extra things in here. Okay? And so I have it for Miranda's Corner. I have all these extra data in here that has nothing to do with what my actual inventory asset is. Now, I can go into super detail, and by doing that, this is where I can create items, okay? And items is going to associate with whatever account I am applying for. Okay, so in other sense, the items is basically you use it to expand your chart of accounts. And what it's going to do is because you're linking it to a chart of accounts, every time I make a sale or if I'm using my inventory, right? If I'm making purchases of inventory or if I'm selling my inventory, it will associate it with that specific account because I linked it to it. So in this case, inventory asset, you don't see any details to it. But if I go into my items list, okay, I can break down my inventory asset by creating things that I actually sell. So for example, I have cameras in here that are considered I have a frame 5 by 7. Okay, so I have the metal one here. Now, what I can also enter in here, Sue, I can say, so let's go ahead and enter a new inventory part. So now that if I select this and I select inventory part, right? Now, if I do that, I can link inventory parts up to 3 different accounts. And in this case, I'm going to say frame 5 by 7 wood. Okay, and then I can make a description. I could say it's 5 by 7 wooden picture frame. Okay, that's my details, right? And then this is where I talk about when I said when it associates cost and stuff with it. Now, I can say I purchased it for, I don't know, a wooden picture frame should cost $5.99, okay? Let's just make it up. And I would associate that cost by with this account right here, cost of goods sold. If I were to sell the item, I could say, well, I normally sell this item for $9.99. And it is taxed because it is a product I'm selling. And what account am I associating it with? I'm going to associate it with sales.
Okay.
Okay. And then lastly, it's going to say, well, where are you taking this out of? Are you entering it as an inventory or are you having it as a non-inventory? And in this case, it's already selected for me that it's an inventory asset, right?
Okay.
Did I need to actually create a sub account for this inventory asset?
No.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to.
You're just giving it more detail.
Exactly. And then here you can also give it some, let's say, to give you a reminder, right? Let's say you're running low. I want it to remind me when I have 10 picture frames left.
Ah,
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it will give you a notification. We'll tell you, hey, you're running low.
okay.
Okay. So if I click OK, here it is. I have my 5 frame 5x7 wood. All right, and I have my 5x7 metal. And this, okay, see all of these parts, the SR7 camera, the case, the lens, all of these are considered inventory assets. See, as you look here, it also allows you to kind of check out which part they are. So inventory parts are all here. Right? So then we're going to be looking also into another one. Let me see. So let's look at the choices that we have before we go through it. And I'll just explain the ones that we would commonly use. So for sure, if you are a consultant kind of group or some kind of thing that provides a service, you would definitely use the service one. If you're in the business of just selling products, then here you would select inventory part or inventory or non-inventory part. Now, when we move into the inventory chapter, which is chapter 8, so in about 2 weeks from now, we're going to dive into chapter 8. You're going to recognize the difference between inventory part and non-inventory part. And how I describe it and associating accounting to it, think of it as inventory part is perpetual inventory. Okay, you're going to constantly update it left and right. You're going to know how much you're going to have at the end of the day. Where non-inventory part, you don't really care too much for when it's low or when or how much you have on hand. Okay, so that's why that one's going to be more towards a periodic kind of inventory, right? Where you don't really care for it. The only difference is no matter what we look into how to cost it and how it's measured, it's actually going to be function a lot different than what we are normally used to. Okay, and we'll save that for inventory when we get there. But that's how you associate it, right? We call it it's real inventory, which is things that you want to keep track of, making sure that this is the item that you want to keep track of. Where your non-inventory part is you don't really keep track of it. Okay? Other things that you could see is other charges. So for example, this person is late. They didn't pay their bill on time. That's where our other charges you can create. You can create other penalties, charges, fees, and things like that. Okay? Say, for example, this person forgot to pay their bill. So you can either charge them either by interest, so saying, well, you owe this much amount, so I'm going to charge you interest, like on a percentage basis. Or you can just give them a flat rate saying, I'm going to charge you a $20 late fee. Okay, and that's where you would categorize that. Okay, you can also create subtotals in here. So, for example, when we look into creating packages, so we will look into that, I believe, chapter 2/chapter 3. We're going to be looking at um, giving discounts and giving other things. So we would need to have a subtitle. I mean subtotal item. Okay, so we'll look into that later. Other things is groups. So if you sell packages, let's say you sell a package that includes the service and a product, then you can use it under a group item. Okay, so you could do a bundle package and you would use the group item, and it would charge for both items that you select. Right? Same thing with discounts. If you provide a discount, right? Let's say you have a 20% store-wide discount. You need to be able to apply it by using this item right here. All right. Payments, such as advanced payments, you can also use that too. Another one, and the last one I'm going to show you, is going to be a sales tax item. Okay. Because we're in the business of selling products, the number one thing is we need to make sure that we have the capability to charge our customers for sales. Okay. And in this case, I'm going to create two sales tax items. Okay. Why? You'll understand why when I put them together. All right. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to, if you guys understand how sales tax is actually calculated or how it actually is, okay, you'll understand that sales tax, looking at it at a perspective, a portion goes to the federal government, federal agency. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong. A portion goes to the state, all right? And then the other portion is going to be based on the county that you belong into. Okay, so for example, when I lived in California, LA County and Orange County had two different sales taxes. And believe it or not, I lived on the very, very border edge of LA County and Orange County. So believe it or not, it was really maddening to find out that I got charged one whole entire percentage, one whole number. So the difference was 8% and the difference was 9%. I got charged a whole 1% tax because I was shopping in the LA County area. And it was literally down the street from where I live.
Wow.
And then if I just flop over into my Orange County area, I get charged 1% lower. So believe it or not, so this is how tax works. You're going to be charged 1% for the state, and then you're going to get charged an additional percentage based on which county you belong into.
So state and county. Wow.
Yeah, yes, state and county. Yes, that is what the current percentage is, okay?
Yeah.
So 8.375, okay, minus 6. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at how we're going to compare to this. So here in Vegas, right, I'm going to title this sales tax as Nevada NV tax, right, state tax. Okay, so once I do that, I'm able to toggle it down here saying, well, what is the percentage here? For the Nevada state tax, I believe it's 4.6%.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
4.6%. All right, and what tax agency am I going to report this to? You're supposed to have one, but I believe this is the Board of Equalization is going to be my tax place. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So here I have a Nevada tax, and it's for 4.6%. Now I'm going to create another sales tax item. Okay, and this is going to be for Clark County. So I'm going to write here Clark County tax. Okay? And what that is going to be 3.775% is my county Clark sales tax. All right, here, Board of Equalization. Oopsies, cancel. I tabbed too early before clicking. There you go. Okay. And then it says their item name cannot be blank. My item name? Oh, I guess I put it in the description. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Now that I've created this, right, now that we created a Nevada state tax, we also have a Clark County tax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new item, right? Because my store is located in in Nevada, and it's in the state. It's in the Clark County district or whatever it is, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sales tax group, right? And that sales tax group is I'm going to call in-store sales tax. Okay? Why do I say in-store sales tax? Because, if I only have one location in Clark County, I'm going to be using the in-store sales tax. It's pretty straightforward. I don't need to go specifically to just Clark County, right? But this is when I want to charge my customers who come into my store. And when I do that, it's going to allow me to select items. So in this case, I want my Nevada state tax in here, and I want my Clark County state tax. And if I were to add these two together, it would add it for me to get 8.375. And that is the current, I believe that is the current, tax here.
That would be right.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself. Okay.
And once I've created that, I'm going to click OK, right? And now every time I charge my customers that come into my store, I'm going to make sure I mark it with this in-stores sales tax. Okay?
And
So,
have both your taxes in it. Okay.
yes. Now, reason for me separating it is because what if for some reason Nevada, they're a little tough, they tell me I want Nevada taxes separate from your county taxes, as in you're going to go to two different agencies. The state agency is one, and then the local county agency is the separate one. I want you to pay two different types of taxes, or I want you to separate your sales tax into those categories. So that is exactly generally why you would create the sales tax item as a complete separate. Now, of course, if they're all going to one agency, you can just create one sales tax item and be able to, every time you need to pay your sales tax, right? You just pay towards that one agency. But in this case, because the example that I did was actually not very good because my Nevada and my state, they both were at the same agency. But for most cases, if you are looking at two different agencies that you have to pay for your sales tax, you may want to keep them separate. So then every time you make a sale, what's going to happen is it's going to collect sales tax for that specific agency. So that's really cool about if you do things like that.
So you have that option to do the Clark County tax, as you're showing there, and then the NV tax. Or, like you said, if it's going to the same place, you can do the in-store sales tax.
Yes, you don't need to create a group item.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to create a group item. Okay. So right now it is 2:48, and I believe I finished going over. Yep, I went over how to create an item, what the item types are. I went over showing an example of each item, and I went over the tax. So we are going to take a quick a 20-minute break from here. But is there any other questions on understanding items and what you can do with them?
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Now, of course, by obviously, if you can add in anything, you can obviously delete them. You can either highlight them and delete them right here, or you can inactivate them. You can, yeah, you could delete the item. So, for example, I don't need this group item, right? Because my only location is Clark County. There's no point to do that. I can delete the item. And it's just going to ask you, are you sure? And I say yes, because I created that, right? I can also, if it's highlighted, I can also right click it and be able to delete it. Okay. I'm also able to, edit the information in case I forgot some details. For example, right? I forgot to add a description to my service that I provided. So I can go ahead and right click that and edit the information right there to be able to do that. I could even add multiple items at the same time if I wanted to. Yes. So I can also, if I have a list, I can upload it as well. Okay. But that's it for this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and pause here.